How's it going, everybody? So I'm gonna be lagging a bit just because of the nature of this. So you get to see me kind of talk and then stop and freeze and all that kind of stuff. um, Hopefully you can see and hear me okay. Looks like you guys can. So tonight I'm doing my arcade mode again. Arcade mode's where I play the arcade mode, obviously, but also I do story mode if story mode exists. I just haven't happened to do any of that yet. But this is gonna be the first game I'm gonna do that has a story mode. So I put out a Twitter poll for what the next game was going to be. It was going to be between either Samurai Showdown 1, Street Fighter 1, Mortal Kombat 1, or Melty Blood 1. And Melty Blood 1 won by a landslide. Now, obviously, none of those titles are named whatever game won. I just want to put one in there for emphasis. It's the first version of it. Before I get started, I just kind of want to go over generally what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to play these old games, just kind of archive my experience of going through them and just trying to get all the endings and finding all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm doing Melty Blood 1 tonight. We're going to go through... I don't know if the arcade mode itself has story endings or not. But we'll try it. We'll do at least one of them. If it has a story ending, we'll do all of them. And then we'll continue on with the story mode. So that's what we're planning on doing here. So let me switch this up here in just a moment. I like my background. Pretty cool, huh? Let's see here. So I am playing the Mirror Moon translated version of this game. I'm kind of surprised I was even able to get it working, to be honest. Throwback Tuesday. The name of my channel is Classic Fighting Gamers, so I want to play some of these old ass games, right? I grew up with a lot of these games. Thanks Mirror Moon for translating. They did not only translated this version, they translated all the other versions too. Let's make sure you can hear the volume on this thing too. So I've had a lot of history with Melty Blood myself. I ran tons of Melty Blood tournaments back in the day at Family Fun Arcade. Been a big fan of the series. Ever since Akadens, I didn't really get into it starting with React. But I have played all of Tsukihime, which is the visual novel that this game is based off of, as well as its sequel, Kogetsu Toya, where they introduced Len and a few other characters. After all of those, then you get into this version, which has a story mode. So I'm not going to play Tsukihime and Kogetsu Toya on stream, partly because it's it's a visual novel, but also because it does have H scenes in it. So you get to see some of these characters in a different light, sort of. But this is a continuation of that. Melty Blood itself, even though it has a story mode, does not have any H scenes. But let's go ahead and get started on this. Adjust the volume here and make it a little bit more presentable for you guys. Beginning of August. Traffic density, 5 cars per hour. Daily estimate of approximately 100 people using electric railways. Temperature, 38 degrees centigrade. This summer, the humid weather makes it painful to breathe. Someone said we looked like fish in a tank, gasping for breath. I heard that as I passed by on the street. I had to laugh to myself. A fish in a tank, gasping for breath? It's true a fish out of water will suffocate, but not fish in a tank. Like us, surrounded by moisture. Then I thought about it a little more. A fish left all alone. It drifts, motionless, top, belly up. The water stagnates. It grows dark with algae. The dead fish opens and closes its mouth. Ah, that's what they meant. Yes, those words describe this summer perfectly. The roasting air feels like you could hold it in your hand. Impossible to see more than 10 meters ahead. Even though it's the middle of the day, no one is around. The silence of abandoned ruins hangs over the town. In the streets, there aren't even the shadows of cars. You could sleep in the middle of the road without any worries. It's like I'm walking through the ruins of an ancient city, lost beneath the sea. So what they said about the fish was dead on. I, Shikitono, aimlessly drift through this bright darkness. Yukihime. A strange summer. Not that no one is here, it's just that no one is on the streets. The platforms by the trains are empty. All that passes by are the trains full of people. On the other hand, you can see where the people are if you look carefully. Inside the department stores, things are busy as ever. The cafes are as full as any other day. It's only outside that looks empty and abandoned. A normal summer day inside the buildings. Right. Everyone is inside. It isn't because it's so hot outside, rather that rumor is the cause. Did you hear? There was another murder in the park yesterday. You mean that rumored vampire serial killer? I guess it hasn't ended yet. I hear voices discussing the same story yet again. The sound of the voices behind me. A group of girls eagerly sharing the latest gossip as they walk. Hey. I turn around to talk to them about it. There's no one there. The city is abandoned, as if the voices were just the wind and those girls passing by were just a mirage. Maybe to those girls, I was also just a mirage as I passed by. I realized my legs brought me to the park. There is no one here either, only the silence of deep night. Perhaps this is what they meant by midnight sun. That, like before, all those murders? The killer who murdered all those women for no reason. I know, he's back. I heard they found bodies ripped apart in an alley. The voices catch me and I turn around. Schoolboys hazy in the light of the midnight sun fade away. That is the reason why Shikitono walks through the town alone. When did all these rumors start to spread throughout town? They say the murderer is back. They say the victims die from blood loss. They say the killer is a vampire, death itself. The incidents from 1 year ago had almost been forgotten. But I know it is impossible for that vampire to have returned. That killer died. and no other vampires have appeared. But that hasn't stopped the rumors from spreading. All across the city, they whisper the stories, the body count rising with each telling. Yesterday, it was the park. Today, it's the alley. Will it be the school tomorrow? The body count is still rising. More and more people believe in the rumors, until no one will go out at night. This is exactly what happened 1 year ago. A suffocating heat. A town where traffic has ceased. But the strangest thing is, there are no strange murders this time, just the rumors. If crazy dream. I feel dizzy, not surprising since I've been walking all over town since morning. My parched throat wants to drink from the machine, but seems I don't have my wallet. Ah, man, just don't have any luck these days. I complain softly, but it's true. That phrase seems to be popular this summer. Actually, everyone I pass seems to be saying that. Bad luck. I feel so uneasy. Only bad things happen. I'm heading in a bad direction. Accidents just keep happening. Like the time my foot slipped on the stairs. Or when I accidentally saw Hisui changing and Akiya and Kohaku kept teasing me. Or that misunderstanding with Arkoid where she got so upset. Or when I broke that dish Senpai liked so much. So much unhappiness at each little thing. The heat makes it hard to think, but maybe there's nothing strange about it at all. Other people are having bad luck too. But then again, it seems to skip over the faultless Arkoid. The calm and composed Seal Senpai, the perfectionist Akiya, and cleaning master Hisui. Then, in other words, is it just all of these coincidences that give me a bad feeling? Is it not coincidence, but inevitability? Again, the words of someone passing by. I sense someone turn around behind me. Excuse me. A girl I've never seen before bows curtly and walks away. That's rare, a foreigner. Well, not exactly rare. After all, Arkoid and Seal Senpai are both foreigners. The hair on the back of my neck starts to stand on end. I stop walking and try to think why. After a few minutes, it hits me. Oh, is that it? Simple, really. I started wandering the town like this 2 days ago. That girl is the first person I've seen clearly. Dizzy again. Probably because I've been standing in the heat too long. You know, it's true. This summer is like a bad dream. Hologram Summer. Night on the Blood Lyre. Program number 6 error. Severing contact with Tonoshiki. Successfully withdrew ether light from his brain while passing by. Have moved to a sufficient distance. Strange. Did I fail? Shiki Tono had a strange expression on his face when he saw me. I do not think anyone can detect a filament only a micron thick. Oh, is that it? Shiki Tono spoke those ambiguous words and sat down beside a flower bed. He's probably dizzy. His data indicates that he is not in favorable health. So part of Tsukihime is that Shiki himself is anemic. So he does get dizzy and like out of breath and stuff like that easily. This is the alley. No sign of anyone being here for at least a week. This is where Shiki Tono entered his contract with the true ancestor Arkoid, and thus fought with chaos. Tonoshiki's mystic eyes of death perception allow him to see the lifespan, the end of existence for any object. Here, he first met the true ancestor, Arkoid Brunstead. No, it really was their second meeting. The first time, Shikitono was a dangerous killer ruled by his taste for death, who barged into her plans. Yes, according to memory files I can read, Shikitono is normally a kind-hearted individual. However, homicidal impulses may emerge. He cannot be classified as harmless. Able to perceive an existence as death, Shikitono can dismantle anything using his knife. He's the only one who can kill the immortal True Ancestors. True Ancestors. A legend which has been handed down through the ages and never fades. Vampires, destroyed by the light of the sun. The living dead which drink the blood of others in exchange for immortality. In the beginning of the vampire race, the True Ancestors. Humans whose blood was sucked by the True Ancestors become blood-drinking monsters themselves. Those who became vampires because of True Ancestors are called Dead Apostles. Most vampires today fall in this subspecies of Dead Apostles. The oldest and most powerful of these are called the 27 Ancestors. Nero, one of the 27 Ancestors, was annihilated here. Let's take a look here at some of these names. So we have, what's this one? Climate Murder is number 1, something like that. Number 2, The Dark Six. Number 3 is Brunstead. 4 is Zelrech. 5 looks like ORT. 6 is Riesel something Strout. 7 is Ina. 8 is Finna Blood Svelten. 9 is Altruge Brunstead. 10 is Nero Chaos. I know it's spelled Nervenkisser. It's pronounced Nero. 11 is Strandrobe something. 13 it says Tatari / Warachia. 14 is Vanfem. 15 is Rita Rosayan. 16 was at Strandsburg Blackmore. I can't read too many more of these. We have El Nahat in there. Yeah, interesting. Nero, one of the 27 Ancestors, was annihilated here. Shortly thereafter, the Serpent of Akashi, who had his blood sucked by an ancestor, had his cycle of reincarnation ended here. Servant of Akashi is Michael Roa Valdemar. In Tsukihime, he was a reincarnating spirit more than a vampire. He would die and then get reincarnated with somebody when they were born, and then they would end up becoming Roa, and then when they died, a new person would end up being born and becoming Roa. Not immediately, but it would take like 20 years or so between deaths. Number 10 of the 27 Ancestors, Nero Chaos. Unnumbered, the Servant of Akashi, Michael Roa Valdemar. There we go. Even the Knights of the Church were unable to defeat the two of them. Did no one predict they would meet their end in this far east country? No, there was one person who predicted it. It was one who saw the possibility of the outcome. It wasn't a very detailed prediction. His equations formulated that the ancestor will fall to ruin in this land. The ancestor has fallen, but the true ancestor still remains. Of course, the agent of the church is still watching, and other factors continue to interfere with further calculations. The power structure of the country Japan is different than ours. There are peculiar rules followed in the island country. One of those rules is to let demons take care of demons. The ones unifying the demons in this area is the Tono family. The current head's mixed blood resulted in abilities closely resembling the vampiric race. So another quick aside, I know I have to keep explaining Melty Blood a little bit here. The Tono family is going to be Akiya Tono, because the Tono family, Akiya's father, Murahasa or something like that, Akiya's father ended up taking in Shiki as an adopted son. So Shiki and Akiya are not related by blood. So, Shikitono is not part demon, even though if you look at this, it might seem like they are. But Akitono is. The ones unifying the demons in this area is the Tono family. The current head's mixed blood resulted in abilities closely resembling the vampiric race. Akitono. I am interested in her as well, but he and the true ancestor are my primary concern. There's no time left. I've spent too much time observing this place. If it escapes this time, there may not be a second chance. 3 years ago, that vampire escaped the hands of the church. I will destroy it this time with my own hands. There are several days until the full moon. Much as I do not wish to admit it, I am going to fight with calculations that do not guarantee victory. A sad thing for an alchemist of the Atlas Academy to say. However, it is not too late. 3 years ago, after that failed vampire hunt, I left the Atlas Academy. The Magi Association has cast its feelers far and wide to search for me, a deserter, and bring me back. Fleeing them has taken a toll on my mind and body, which have already begun to fail. All the same, I made it. There is still the possibility I will accomplish my goal. I must hurry. I have only one purpose, to exterminate that vampire. The affliction of a vampire's desecration of a human body, and the vampire whose roots spread here in this town. Because I must remove both of them, It's like we got branching paths here. Let's take the first path. A, B, C, D, etc. Number 1, meeting and return. Enter. Shion Eltnam Sokaris, hereby decreed as candidate for Academy Director. The grim face of the university president reading the edict. The students and the teachers look at each other, wide-eyed. Unhushed whispers rise, and hundreds of eyes face me. Surprise, I'm astonished. I never would have thought it. Blame. Unforgivable. Denial. I can't believe it. Other words I can't make out, blending together into sounds as arcane as the syllables of a spell. Henceforth, Shion Eltnam will be Shion Eltnam Atlasia. She'll be accorded the privileges and respect of an instructor and have the same status as ambassador at large. The words of the university president are absolute, not just because of the authority of his position, but because the words make it clear it is a command. There was no protest from the audience, only more glares directed at me. Not as though I've suddenly changed. Of all those gatherings in the Great Hall, only the university president and I seem calm. As for everyone else, the students and even the teachers are dumbfounded with surprise. I suppose it is natural. I am now Shion Eltnam Atlasia. Those given the name of Atlas are chosen to represent this academy. No one guessed that out of all the students and faculty, it would be an Eltnam. Of course, I was calm. Not that I was informed beforehand I would be given the name Atlasia. Simply that among the Atlas Association, I was the only one with the requisite power. Indeed, of being surprised, it was rather natural to be bored. Or instead of being surprised, it was rather natural to be bored. Just what has changed in my life since then? I do not look any different in the mirror. Since I was an Eltnam, a once noble house, the others treated me with contempt. I excelled as a student to erase the sin of my ancestor. Others wanted only to have me removed. As long as I was the top student in the class, all they could do was ignore me. Once I became Atlasia, I had the power to remove them. They were afraid of my retribution. They probably believed I would treat them in the same manner they treated me. They did not want to receive any contempt. I am a noble. The blood of the sinner Eltnam runs through me, but I am not ruled by my emotions. In the first place, I do not feel any emotions towards them anyway. If they wished to distance me, then I will keep them distant. That will not change from before. I do not need anyone, so I do not need to associate with them. I already had the needed laboratory, but has continued to excel in my studies. It was 8 years ago. What was correct? What was mistaken? Even now, I don't really know for certain. Not good. It's already this late. I opened my eyes. Was it because I was so exhausted? I saw a meaningless dream? No, because I was dreaming, you could say I was not completely exhausted. If my mind were truly burdened, I would not have seen anything. Probably because of overexertion during the day. There was something wrong with this much heat. I had heard the Japanese summers were hot, but I had not thought it would be this bad. The heat shining back from this town is too strong, even for me, a child of the desert. I thought I would sleep through the heat of the day, but it seems I could not control the time of my awakening. A cold night. I must have slept too long? Whatever the case, confusion is for certain. Not sleeping properly and not ordering all this information is setting myself up for failure. But before that, I must confirm where the next incident will occur. As long as I can move, I must finish the preparations. Fortunately, I have data on this town I downloaded from Shikitono. I can find the source of all these incidents without needless roaming. Come to think of it, Shikitono. Securing him is also a priority. It is before midnight. There are 3 possible routes he will take. It should be easy enough to determine his current location. Then all that's left is this. I come out to an unfamiliar clearing, a small clearing apart from the office buildings. Until a short while ago, everything was another large city park, but it now transitions to private property. Wow, from down here it really looks impressive. I look up the building under construction. I heard the monumental architecture would be finished next spring. Nobody seems to be sure exactly what it's going to be, but it's something important. I've heard everything from a big department store to the corporate office of a powerful electronics company. The area around it is also being landscaped. Maybe I don't have to go this far. The land all around the building is perfectly flat, like a mirror. The name of the building, Shrine, may be appropriate, but it's going a little too far. Well, I hold my breath to scan the area. No sign of anyone else around. Of course, there are less and less people as night falls, thanks to the rumors of the vampire murder starting up again. But I can understand why no one would be in the park or the back alley. This place is empty of people for another reason. Well, after all, this is private property. The only people around would be trespassing. So why should I expect to see anybody? And then I suddenly get assailed by nausea. My fingers are numb and my throat is parched. My pulse quickens, a feeling like poison creeping from the back of my brain. Without even realizing it, my right hand reaches into my pocket and soullessly takes out my knife. Counts. This sensation. I've felt the tense chills so many times before. Am I just disposed to this? Before I meet up with something unworldly, I always get assailed by this sensation. I sense someone standing right behind me. Someone, a human. This private property where no one should be. A faint chill. And the vampire has returned. But something feels a little different. Are my reactions weak? It simply feels different from usual. A discomfort that indicates the presence of an outsider. Well, show yourself. Hello? Is someone there? I speak with my knife hidden behind my back. And then... Good evening. Do you have business with me? Even though it was all so sudden, the girl speaks so calmly. Seeing her, I was startled. That distinctive dress and hat, definitely a foreign look. I'm almost afraid to say it, but she looks really cute. What is it? Oh, well, no, nothing really. Sorry, I mistook you for someone else. Sorry to be so rude. You do not have to apologize, but that is not the way to greet someone, is it? Her tone is so smooth. Now that she mentions it, it makes total sense. Lately, I seem to be off kilter. You're right. It's a little late, but good evening. Yes, nice to meet you. So what are you doing here? Are you looking for something at this hour? Yeah, something like that. And what about you? You couldn't have not heard about how dangerous it is at night. Oh, right. She's a foreigner. She wouldn't have heard the rumors circulating this town. Since she's probably just sightseeing, she wouldn't know anything about the vampire murders last year either. It's nothing. I don't know why you are here, but it's better to not hang around places where no one's around. You never know what might happen. He just stares at me. It's only natural. There's no way she can understand me if I keep suddenly blurting out all this stuff. No, you cannot say I don't know what will happen. Whatever shape he takes, the vampire will appear. Even you are patrolling in order to find him, are you not, Cheeky Tonho? What? You could say we are looking for the same thing, Cheeky Tonho. Although our reasons are very different. She speaks devoid of any expression. Those chills return. Pain in my temples like a stabbing needle. An irregularity like you throws the equation out of balance. Unless I move quickly to root out any problems, the results this time will also be undesirable. Her arms swing forth and I hear an unfamiliar click. She holds a black gun in her hand. Please, resist if you wish. My name is Shion Eltnam Atlasia. Your freedom now belongs to me. And with that, she jumps towards me. This foreign girl I'd never met before attacks me with almost unspeakable speed. Alright. First fight, here we go.